And we'll start with Ian.
How disappointing was that, Andre, after looking a match probably you were targeting to win?
Yeah, there's not disappointing. It's when you haven't done anything, you can't really be too disappointed. I think the weather has just been so bad over the last, probably since it started raining in our game, it just hasn't stopped. I'd be very doubtful that if there's a game played there this evening as well. It's just so wet out there. So yeah, it's not that disappointing because we haven't done it. We can't control it. So we'll just have to move on to Brisbane and hope we get a good performance up there.
There's the chance to go top of the table. How good would that have sounded?
Yeah, naturally, I think if we had gone out and there was a bit of break out there or a bit of sunshine around, but the fact that it was so grey and wet, it was always kind of doubtful that we'd get out there. So I think I'm not sure. I think we're second now. There's just so much going on in that group with rained off fixtures and run rate and stuff. But I suppose to still be in the hunt with 2 games left is pretty good.
And 2 pretty big games coming up.
Yeah, the world champions in their own backyard is something pretty special. I know the group are very excited about that challenge. Each game brings its own challenge, and certainly playing the best T20 team as their champions up at the Gabba is pretty special. We have some good memories from the Gabba from a few years ago, but certainly playing Australia there will be a completely different animal, but exciting at the same time.
It's another team we haven't played, of course, for many years.
Yeah, I think I said the other night I haven't played them in a T20 international, but we know how good they'll be. They'll, it's starting to get down to that sort of must-win territory for a lot of teams. Certainly there'll be big pressure on those teams when they play against us. They'll be expected to beat us, no doubt. So that's a kind of nice way to go into a game. You can play with a bit more freedom. Hopefully we kind of have that belief in our group. We certainly have that belief in our group that we can beat them, but we know we'll have to be very good on the day.
The mindset is that you've beaten England, you've beaten West Indies. Why not Australia?
100%, yeah. Like I said, they're under pressure. Tonight's game will probably be postponed or abandoned unless there's a sun somewhere up there. So yeah, it'll be all to play for all the teams next week. Gabba and then down to Adelaide. So it's exciting getting to go to the Gabba and the Adelaide Oval in potentially games that could progress you into the semi-finals, all going well. But certainly the first task is to have a good crack at the Aussies.
Hi. Obviously the cricket schedule is pretty manic, but is there a frustration that you've come here for this great global event that has been the focus of your year, and here you are in the wettest month in Melbourne and kind of paying the price for it?
I don't know. We've played 5 games out of 6. We were lucky in Hobart. We got all 3 games in there. Played against Sri Lanka. Played against England. And this is the first time it's been called off. The weather looks pretty good in Brisbane, but it's obviously causing a lot of difficulties in other games. I think obviously Afghanistan. This is their 2nd game in a row abandoned, so they're a bit unlucky in that regard. But it's just part of the game, unfortunately. You do come to Australia thinking that you won't need a hoodie or a rain jacket, but it's certainly been different since we arrived 3 or 4 weeks ago. But yeah, it's not a controllable, so we don't get too worked up about it.
You don't think that there's a danger that it might affect the credibility of the tournament?
I don't particularly want to comment on that. I think, like I said, we've played 5 games out of 6. They've been good games of cricket. It's been entertaining. We've played some pretty good stuff. It is different because last time we were in Australia for a World Cup, it was in February and March. But I understand there's a lot of cricket around the world, and like I said, I can't really control any of that. We're here to play. We've played some good stuff since we've been here, and we hope to play good stuff next week.
Hi, Andrew. I appreciate you talked about the win over England on Wednesday, but with Pakistan losing to Zimbabwe yesterday, it's like another one of these so-called upsets with the less established sides that with small amounts of money and whatever. Why do you think they are happening so regularly or so often in this World Cup? Why have we had so many of them?
I think because they're good teams. We're good teams. We might not be recognised because we don't play as often as other teams on the big stage or in front of the cameras as often, but I think these tournaments consistently show that teams outside the big 6 or 7 are very good cricket teams. Zimbabwe, they obviously beat us in the first game of the first round, and they're a very good cricket team. I think we're a very good cricket team, and the teams that didn't qualify, like Scotland and the West Indies, are good cricket teams, and that's why it's so important for us to play on this stage as often as possible, to showcase those skills and show that we can compete with these teams and beat these teams. And like I said, we've played a pretty exciting brand of cricket so far, which is as important as getting results. And I think we've had some positive stuff to come out of the last couple of weeks.
Do you think that pack's got closer to the top 6 or 7 that you mentioned than in previous years?
Yep, I certainly do. T20 cricket, you can play a lot of it throughout a year. It's a format that there's so many leagues around the world, not just the big leagues, but leagues in loads of different countries. So a lot of players are playing T20 cricket all around the world and getting experiences and exposure and learning new things. And the T20 game is moving on probably as quick as any of the formats. And certainly you've got to keep up with the trends of the game and stuff like that. So I think we're trying to do that as best we can. And our results over the last week have probably showed that we're doing a good job so far.
David, do you have a question?
Hi, Andrew. Is there real belief within the side that you guys can reach the semi-finals? I suppose, touching on what Matt said there, busting open the myth that there is a gap between the haves and the have-nots.
We certainly believe we can. A result on Wednesday sort of backs that belief as well, that we didn't play our best cricket and we still managed to beat a team as good as England. So that was positive. I wouldn't want to be part of a group that didn't think that. That would certainly be a bad environment to be part of. Myself, Heinrich, a couple of the senior players try to drive that as much as possible. And you just never know. There's so much pressure on. There's pressure on us. But it's different pressure to the big teams. Australia are probably going to have to win their last 2 games. So that'll be a different pressure for them. Like I said, they'll be expected to win by a lot of people in that stadium, and that could play into our favour. But we have to play good cricket, and that's what we've always focused on, is trying to play a really good style of cricket, and hopefully we can do that next week.
Yeah. Matthew Mott said yesterday that you guys sort of, in the England game, had a bit of a free hit, whereas there was a bit of a nervousness around. I suppose that's what you're alluding to there. You guys can just go into it with no pressure attached on your shoulders, whereas the bigger teams maybe feel like they have to.
The free hit word has been kind of, I've seen a bit of it, and I understand it, but at the same time, the pressure that we have at this stage is, if we lose badly, a lot of people will say we don't deserve to be here, and that's a different kind of pressure. We don't like using the term free hit, because we want to go out and play. Even if it's the first round or the second round, we want to play a certain way, and we have as much to lose as well in this tournament. So I can understand how people say that, but from our point of view, it's certainly, we feel on a level playing field when we take the field, and we have to perform that way too.
Gentleman at the end there.
Andy, with rain affecting so many games, it's highly likely that the net run rate is going to come into the equation. Has your team started having those thoughts and conversations in team meetings already with regards to net run rate scenarios, or is it too early to?
No, we haven't talked too much about it, to be honest. I think we just have to, for us to qualify, we're probably going to have to win. Haven't had a proper look at the table, but if we lose 2 games, net run rate's not going to matter. So we have to worry about winning the games first and foremost, and the net run rate will look after itself. I think we can't look too far ahead of ourselves. So that's kind of.
Any last questions? Okay, we're done. Thank you.
Thank you.